In the Bible, there's a parable about a Pharisee and a publican. And a publican is a pretty low person in Jewish society, a sinner, one might say. And the Pharisee was the highest person in Jewish society, a high priest. And they go down to the temple, and the Pharisee is like, I thank God I'm not like that guy, that sinner. And the publican strikes his breast and says, Lord, forgive me, for I have sinned. And Jesus says, that man went down to his house more justified. And Jessica lived her struggles. She was not
Mhm.
a hypocrite. She was
Mhm.
not she wasn't a Pharisee. She wasn't someone who sat in judgment over other people. You
Right.
saw her struggles. She was so
Yeah.
human.
And I
Yeah.
think
It was
one of her legacies, I really believe, is to your point, Brett. It was really interesting to see the outpouring of love toward her, but the number of wounds that people had that were healed because of it, or words of kindness that were said to people. I really feel like one of her legacies was, and it was true even in her death, that um people picked up the baton, you know, of the love that she shared for people.
Unwarranted the
And
hatred was toward her. That
Yeah.
somebody who just, was constantly battling this kind of stuff had that kind of grace. And it just was something that I would always think of in my own dark moments, or that taking that extra breath or that extra step of thought when interacting with somebody. She just led by an example. And it was
Mhm.
never in a way that made you feel like you were in the wrong or that you needed to learn. That she just was the example in so many ways. And she was also the example of just wit and hilarity. That's the other thing I want to mention about her.
Mm.
Her her wit, and maybe I attribute it a lot to the Britishness of her, just being an American, and
to their
the way
struggles.
she.
And as Jason was saying, forgiving the people who, trespass against you, right? I mean, that's a core part of the Lord's Prayer. And just watching her work through that, it was so wonderful and inspiring to me to try and be a better person. And I
Mhm.
don't know if she realized that, the sort of she because she was not full of herself and she wasn't a Pharisee, she probably didn't see the light that she was to the world in that way. But it's something that I think Jess affected so many people's lives in a positive way.